but this is not meant or should be seen as witch hunt. It is meant to address a system in the general interest of the country. The country is bigger than individuals. So having done the assignment professionally, I want to believe, because I know the people that are involved and the seriousness that they attach to their work, the outcomes and the recommendations, I believe, under Your Excellency's wise guidance and leadership, will be executed. I was really not surprised that there will be findings of this nature. I'm only taken aback by the magnitude. If at the start of the commission if I were told that this type of magnitude would come out, I would not have believed it. But now I am really surprised that such a magnitude of under declarations, of on collections and under reporting, and this is just a small portion of taxpayers. Imagine if all the taxpayers that have recorded are reassessed, how much revenue could accrue to the state. So, Your Excellency, I think this is an exercise that is worthwhile, and we certainly look forward to maybe having the detailed report, and under your wise guidance and leadership, implementation of its recommendations. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable colleague. With Your Excellency's kind permission, I want to say or repeat the statement I had made earlier, that we learn new things about His Excellency on a daily basis. Nobody ever thought that something of this nature, something of this magnitude would ever surface. But when Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala entrusts the fate of His people in the hands of an individual, he is always guided by that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. I am sure, and I have no doubt, that somewhere in his dreams or in his sleeps or in his thoughts, Allah put this in his mind, that somewhere along the line in this country, monies are being thrown away, or monies that ought to have been recovered for one reason or another are not being recovered. And as a result, he came up with the idea of this commission, gave his instructions, and instituted this commission of inquiry. It wasn't a failure. It could not have been a failure either. The revelations we have now had is unimaginable, especially on every part of it is important, but the issue of the dot or bounce checks, that one, my Lord will agree with me that it's a strict liability offense. And I thank you very much. Since I am the chairman of this gathering, I'd like to call on His Excellency to give us his comments.
The idea of a commission on tax evasion and malpractices and, of course, corrupt practices was not a new idea that came to mind. But because commissions were set before on customs, and their revelations are nothing new to us. What prompted this inquiry is the fact that I had always been very suspicious of the amount of revenue that's lost due to duty waiver. And I had caused to say, to give a directive that as from henceforth, and that was around 2008, I think, or 2007 to be specific, all duty waiver applications and recommendations for approval must be sent to my office for scrutiny, and before customs can give them the duty waiver. At first, there was a resistance from the then Minister of Finance. Oh, you are too busy, and I made it very clear. Oh, it's very bulky and this and that and that, and you're too busy, and you may not be able to go through that. I made it very clear to him that it wasn't his business. By the time I took up that duty upon myself, I realized that it is bulky, but I have a duty to the nation. Then I realized that each time we go through the recommendations, there were a lot of inconsistencies and ambiguity. In some instances where they know that this is definitely not true, not correct, and should be disapproved, they would come with an ambivalent position where it is up to the president to approve or disapprove, and they will not take a clear-cut position, and they are the GRA. So then it was becoming common. So wherever, and then what is also strange, people that are not entitled to any duty waiver are recommended for duty waiver, and obviously I disapprove of it. But then, all this stems from my experience, personal experience, in 1994, February to be specific. When I decided to take over the country, I wanted to also know how customs worked. So I told the tractor taxi driver to tell my cousin to send me a second-hand car from Germany, but not addressed to me, because then they would know, but addressed to somebody under my care. So the car came, very small, I think it was a Fiat. It came, an Opel. It came to the customs and I was notified. Can you believe that it took me from February to up September 1994, and I couldn't get this vehicle out. And as soon as I took over, they wanted to send it to the gate. I said, no, the procedure is still. Yes. And this was how they